Right.
I'm saying that you always held that what the four members of parliament had done by filing to run on different platforms to the ones they came in parliament on was essentially a future event. Do you feel vindicated now by
I
the Supreme Court's ruling?
I feel absolutely vindicated, and I feel so even with a lot of humility. You know, I agree with my brother Martin that we all write the same exams to pass the law and all the things that he said. But I think that the judges have specific experience. Before you get to the Supreme Court, you would have gone through cases and cases, and you will have a certain kind of top-up training with adjudication that a regular lawyer does not have and may never get, even if they spend 50 years at the bar. So I appreciate that. Yes, we all understand things, generally the same. But I think judges have some sort of an extra skill. Now, so for me, looking at this matter objectively before I even heard the judges and coming up and saying that, look, every parliament has a life. It has a start, it has an end. And we have something we call the modern purposive approach, which is you interpret the law purposively, which is you ask yourself, what did the people who wrote the law want? What was the intention of the framers? Was it their intention that if somebody wanted to do something in the next parliament, things should disrupt this present parliament? That couldn't have been so. And then you look at the history that led to this law on cross-carpeting, going all the way back to Kwame Nkrumah. We can't go into that. But all that put together, I was assured in myself that it cannot be that an action in this parliament, which takes effect in the next parliament, should be allowed to disrupt this parliament. And that's exactly what the Supreme Court justices came to. So, those who want to read, if you read page 54, they've labeled it number 10. I think the heart of this decision is there. But what everybody must take away is this. You have one parliament. The people who have filed to be in the next parliament, in fact, to be elected to the next parliament, are not saying themselves that they've left their party. They are continuing to work with their party till the end of the term of this parliament. It has become necessary for them to file because this is the only time they can file to stand election for the next parliament. And they have exercised their freedom of association to decide that they are coming back to parliament or standing elections under a different political party color or as independent. That in no way affects this parliament. And we must know that they may not even win the election. So we are dealing with a moot situation, a situation which is supposed to happen in future. And in our in our Supreme Court, issues of mootness do not affect substantive issues that are happening today. You have a situation where because of this decision, Parliament was severely disrupted. And what the Supreme Court is trying to tell us is that let us not disrupt a present Parliament simply because somebody has made a decision which every way only affects the next Parliament. And I think that they have explained it very well using both facts, laws, philosophy, and common sense.
Right. Now, of course, those who criticize this position are asking that, well, at any material time, if a member of parliament no longer wishes to run on the ticket of the party in which they came into office, they will always be referring to a future event because the next election will always be, the next election. So it will always be in reference to the next parliament. So when will 97.1 GNH ever apply?
It is not always so. So we have had a history in this country where people sitting in a particular parliament change their parties from party A to party B within that parliament. And therefore, if that parliament was split like we have right now, they moved onto the other side and therefore give the other side a majority. It has happened before. That is not what we have today. And that can happen again. We have had people crossing carpet, people changing from independent to political party color or from political party color to independent. What we are saying is, if you do that within the life of the parliament, if you try to change the number arrangement in the parliament or the majority situation in the parliament, then in that same parliament, you will not be allowed to do it. So, in fact, this solves a problem for the future. And what it is saying is that When you come into parliament as party A, you will stay in that parliament as party A. But if you want to change your color in that parliament, then you will lose your seats. But if you come into that parliament as party A and you stay in that parliament till the end as party A, that stops you from coming back as party B or independent. That has been made very, very clear.